The country's really at a crossroads. We may be in a difficult place, but I think the position we're in, we can really come up with innovation, we can come up with solutions, and we can really have a way out of where we are right now. So we know that we have more than 6 million people unemployed. The majority of those are the youth. The question for the economy is, what restructuring plan does the president have in mind? We have had various sectorial interventions. We know that the NDP, as a vision, I believe, has been put out there, but I think it's about the government and the bureaucratic efficiencies and the support that these departments will offer to implement the policy directives of the country. I think the sectors that we focus on are going to be really underpinning whether or not we grow. So currently we see mining and financial services have largely driven the South African economy. And now we're seeing the growth of the services economy. And I don't think those sectors are able to absorb the large numbers of the unemployed, particularly the youth, and particularly given the level of skills that we have in the country. So we've got to look at these subsectors that we need to look at are light industrial sectors, agri-processing sectors, oceans economy, and sectors that are able en masse to absorb low-skilled youth and also ensure new entrants are absorbed into the economy. So I think that you've got to look at how do you increase income to those whom you employ in these sectors, because that is where growth is kick-started. You cannot always rely on government subsidy or government to spur growth. It's largely from your middle income and your middle class that kickstart growth through consumption and other type of mechanisms that incentivize and grow the economy. We've got to absorb unemployed labor and those who are on the fringes of these economic centers. I think the other thing is we've got to relook how urban and rural, particularly township economies, are supported. I believe business incubators are a good way to reconfigure and to ensure new entrants into the economy. But you've got to make sure that they are across the board in rural areas and not just in urban areas, and particularly in local municipalities where you see very little economic activity happening, particularly for the youth. I think access to finance, I think that we've got to support young entrepreneurs. Our financial markets are not geared towards helping new entrants, and I think development finance institutions are where the real solution lie, ensuring that some of these entrants are actually absorbed into the economy. I think supporting infrastructure for the township economies and also those who are in formal economy, or rather in urban areas, but not particularly in the formal economy. So I think a mix of those incentives, and I think how well we actually see outcomes is how well our policymakers and our departments execute these at a local level and at a national level, and I think that's where we fail, is execution. So supporting infrastructure and improving market access for entrepreneurs, I think, is key. I think that the last thing that I want to add is tax incentives for these new entrants are critical. We largely see high support offers offered to your large companies, large multinationals, and incentives that are geared towards your formal economy. But I think informal economy, to guide and even transition informal entrants into your formal, is an issue of incentivizing. And I think we've got to reduce the red tape. I think those are the key things.